going live soon. And yeah, maybe you can chat for like 45 minutes or an hour, things like that, right?
Okay.
Okay. It's going setting up for YouTube live. That for like 45 minutes or an hour. Okay. So we are live. And let me also just share this real quick to our community members so they know we are live. And then I will bust out an intro. Okay, so we're live. We're going live. In today's talk, two funny hats, Frank and Khánh, is talking about movies. This is actually quite, in some ways, every time we iterate and we reinvent the show, I think we also kind of like strike closer to like the sweet spot of a
Hmm.
lot of the convergence of a lot of our ideas and interests, right? Some one of the things that we always connected with each other is movies, like we just,
Art,
great.
aesthetic awakening.
Yeah, art, athletic, and awakening. Always
Oh,
connected in those cases.
athletic, yeah, awakening. Art, athletic, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the movies always has a pretty special place in my heart because not only did I didn't really go to a film school, but I went to an art school that has a major called video art. Because the reason why I started making videos was because I saw Chris Cunningham's music videos. Dude, it's so funny. I watched his music video again like 2 weeks ago for the first time in a while, and I actually didn't think it was that good.
You didn't think that was good?
Before, it's like every time I watch it like again, I'm still getting mind blown. I was like, man, this is the shit. But the last time I saw it, I was like, this is all right.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know why I feel like that, but
Is he still doing stuff? Like, is he still creating?
no, he's not really creating anymore. I heard he's I don't want to say too much about this, but I heard he's addicted to heroin.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's what Chris told me. Chris doesn't know him personally. His friend told me. But Chris is my friend from LA. He just recently wrapping up a movie called Drama, starring Robert
Robert
Pattinson
Pattinson. Right, right,
and
right.
the girl from Dune. And his last movie was called what was it called? Do you remember? It's starring
Nicolas Cage, right?
yeah, it's called Dream Scenario. So he's big time director, and I made a short film with him in LA where he made like a mock meta mockumentary where he just found me online, which is half true story. He found me online and he said he wants to get into spiritual awakening. So we made it go a lot together. But we still keep in touch. And he said he wanted me to help him get ripped. So I started talking to
Right,
him.
right.
Started talking to also Josh Penn again. So like I've been reconnecting with a lot of the people from my past lives. Even Owen. I'm meeting up with Owen RSD Taylor tomorrow. He's coming to
Right,
DC
right.
before, and Khan suggested I just hang out with him and just learn from
Yeah.
him and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot going on. But movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm also similar like you. I think I'm also connecting to a lot of people
Vietnam, right?
from
You're
Vietnam, different culture, starting to really reading literature. It's starting to really think about things that I used to care about a lot.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Same
yeah,
actually. Yeah, I started reading books again.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's coming from really a different stance. And I think just overall, there seems to be a much on my side, like a much more of a willingness to engage and to see what people are up to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where I see
Get
that there was a
view. Yeah, yeah. Just be really open-minded to other people's view, actually,
yeah,
instead of just being stuck in oh, this is Buddha, but I'm Buddha.
yeah. I think that there was a time where we really like just kind of going into a long extended retreat
Yeah.
where we just really like band together, we practice, we see what this about, what that's about. But now I think it's like we really curious. At least on my side, I'm really curious about like, I'm going to church, I'm praying, I want to see, I want to learn what religion is about. A lot of things that I think that I know, but when I slow down, I'm like, wait, I think
Hmm.
that could be just an assumption. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
Right. And then we open again and keep learning. Because I do find that this is not even like actively going out and trying to learn something like, oh, I gotta get knowledge. But like, no, just like be attentive
Hmm.
and see what is captivating people, what is capturing people's interest and things like that. And that's
Hmm.
why movies is a great medium because people flock into the movies, they talk about movies, movies build modern mythologies, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we want to be like Rocky, we want to be like Batman,
Yeah, and then whatever time period you're in, the movie really like reflects like the karma of the time.
Right.
Yeah. Even if you like say if you make a movie, and Marty Supreme, the movie was in like the '60s, but then there's some like a really modern touch to it, right? The speed of it, like now
Yeah.
everything is accelerating so fast, and it's reflected in different fractals. Like in CC too, like everything is like moving really fast, but that's just a reflection of what's going on in the world. Adi Ashante once said that the deeper your realization, you just become more of what the world already is, and vice versa. You know, because it's in our
Mm.
minds are codependent with the world. But just the speed of compounding in Money Supreme, like the speed of the volitional formation, and really attest to like even like my own practice and the state of the world, right, with AI and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. And also, yeah, what the one that kind of recommended us Marty Supreme because I'm not really in touch with pop culture. Like everything I know about pop culture is through you, bro. And then the like I remember the first episode where like let's talk about dreaming big, and then you
Right.
just Marty Supreme movie trailer. I was like, this looks interesting, so I watched it. I watched it when I was in Miami, and it wasn't what I expected at all. But it's kind of
Right.
relevant to like thinking about the nature of samsara and the nature of ambition, identity, the nature
Right.
of like personas.
Right.
What are you really doing this for? Nobody
Right.
knows who he is, but he like he's just going for it. You can't deny the fact that he lives in the moment, right? And then he's like
Right.
really raw and just like you have to respect that. But at the same time, he was kind of like an asshole, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. He definitely that.
people didn't, but then the love, the energy, the movie, the kinetic, someone like there's like a very rare sense of like electricity in that movie. Even though personally I didn't enjoy it as a movie that much, it's like oh I appreciate it, but like I probably wouldn't watch it again, or I don't know. It wasn't.
That's yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know if I like it or not. Yeah.
I didn't watch it again either. Like that's also one of my stand, which is like, definitely not what I expected it to be. It was a very surprising watch.
Yeah.
It was because at first I guess I was thinking more of like this is gonna be one of those maybe more like Rocky
Yeah, sports movie. Yeah.
sports movie underdog stories of rising up, like grabbing the moment, following your heart, and then things end well, and he's like changed his life and inspire people. But it was generally a really thoughtful contemplation about ambition and what it means to follow your heart. But what if your heart is misguided?
What if your heart is misguided and the sport that you love, no one gives a shit about?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think at that time in the U.S., like the ping pong wasn't a thing, right?
Yeah, and it's almost like he has to overcompensate for that, right? It's like it's gonna be big. It's gonna be like I'm gonna be on the magazine, like on this grandiosity of how life should be and will be, and then he just constantly rejecting his responsibility, right? That's not my kid.
Right. Yeah.
Like
He didn't have a job. He didn't have
you,
money. Yeah, single-mindedly just wants to play ping pong. Like you can
yeah,
respect, it, but at the same time, you're like, that's kind of dumb.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about this movie, but I guess we can recap from how we are seeing it, and then maybe we can talk about some of the points because I list out like purpose, ambition, and the cost of following your heart
Yeah.
on our Instagram. But essentially, I think for some of the folks who haven't watched Marty Supreme yet, it is kind of like marketed. And I also want to talk about the marketing aspect of the movie because
Oh,
Timothy Chalamet,
it's actually part of it. I read a little bit how Timothy, how
yeah,
do you
kind of
pronounce?
like method acting
Yeah.
alongside that, right? Which is fascinating.
Yeah. He was talking about his own greatness and everything, right? It's almost like the marketing that went along with the movie is part of the movie and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of marketing in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so
We're
good morning.
gone. Maybe we can mention like what we're gonna do for the season. We're gonna do like movie reviews, or at least we're gonna try to get people to watch movies every week. And it's also a way for me to rekindle my interest and passion in art because I kind of don't really have that much interest in art anymore. But like doing this, I read a little bit of review yesterday, and I was like, I actually got my camera again. I'm gonna start filming with
Oh
my
shit.
camera. Yeah. For the first time, I actually felt like inspired to like make some like more like cinematic images again instead of just using the
Oh
same.
shit.
Yeah, so I got to order the battery and everything. So we'll see
Right,
how that.
before we start with the show, so Frank was just saying the season's coming back. We're gonna talk about movies. We're gonna talk about popular culture. So we list three movies we were talking about today. This week is Marty Supreme. Next week we talk about Her, Intimacy with the Machine, and 2 weeks from now, we're going to talk about the Holy Mountain, Jodorowsky, which is meant, I think it's quite an intense watch. I haven't watched the movie yet.
Oh,
I'm
you
still
haven't watched?
saving up for that. But essentially, we're using all these mediums, and it's also a way for me and Frank to meet with each other and share a lot of ideas and perspectives. Because a lot of things going on, a lot of expansion, a lot of like I'm going to school, learning a lot of stuff, rekindling and reconnecting to my roots, like the whole Vietnamese thing here, changing, embracing my name again, all those things. And Frank is also reconnecting with a lot of his past interests, past loves, a lot of these things. Before we continue, I would like to clear the airs and make something clear. Is that in one of the week one, in the frankly speaking, so the inner Frank Yang, the inner show within CC, we gotta have we kind of have a sit down where well with the intention of giving Frank some feedback. I think I said a couple of things that was very harsh, and I don't really stand with those words as much anymore. And I would like to be clear about it. I was saying things like Frank's lack of ambition could be somewhat of
Illness.
illness or fogginess, which I guess it was also a projection on my side where I can't really stop from my ambition. There was that part.
And also, like, you're in the sort of, you're only like 26 right now, right? Like,
Yeah, so there's also that aspect of time, right? Which is I haven't done enough.
yeah, you haven't quote unquote exhausted that, yeah, or at
Yeah,
least exhausted that to the max of a degree. So,
yeah. So I really appreciate you, Frank, that you are open to those kind of feedback and you actually listen to it and just like, okay, I'm gonna hear it out.
yeah.
So then that actually reflected to me, like, wait a minute, if Frank is willing to listen to me, am I willing to listen to Frank? And then I started to see that, oh shit, I was conceited. So I shouldn't be like that. So now, well, I choose not to be like that because like, why would I be like that? Why do I need to cling on certain kind of, like the way the thing should be in like a definitive sense, right? And then I'm opening up my mind again, reconsidering what from which stance or attitude am I approaching things. And I just think overall it could be much nicer to, live life with a certain sense of appreciation and going out, kindling and acting from a space of, abundance and appreciation, but also not being swept up in ambition. Just like the fucking movie, Marty Supreme. He got swept up.
Yeah.
Like he got lost in the sauce.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Well, that's the most interesting part of that movie is like at the end, we didn't really get to see the ending we're expecting to see, like all those triumphs and like underdog overcoming something and actually winning. But he did win in his own way. But at the end, I don't want to spoil it. Should we give like a spoiler alert or something? Because I think you mentioned something at the end where
Right.
you mentioned how you can relate to the ending, where it's almost like he did what he had to do and he renounced from ambition so he can just be a dad or just be
Right.
a family man. But he had to go through all that. But then he did win it in his own way, right?
Yeah. How did you relate to the story of Marty Supreme from your lens, from what you've been through, Frank? Because you also set big goals, right? You also set, like there's intimacy goal coming from a stance of like being awkward, learning how to be better with women. That was a project. There was a project of strength. There was a project of aesthetic, and then there was a project of spirituality, creativity. And each time that you've done something like that,
Oh yeah, I could definitely relate how selfish he was. Like at all costs, just going after like what you want, and then hurting a lot of people along the way. Yeah, yeah, I can definitely relate to that part. And just the rawness of it. Yeah, like the sweat, the kinetic aspect of it, like the speed of it. Yeah, yeah.
hmm,
It's almost not apologizing for that as well. Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of people there,
He was like, I'm the nightmare that even Hitler doesn't want to see or something like that. It's like pretty crazy shit. Yeah.
oh yeah, there was a line, yeah.
Lines of Hitler. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, he said I'm Hitler's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about that context, but
I think he was saying in the context of I'm Hitler's worst nightmare because he was an athletic Jew who's representing like sports and like pushing the boundaries. I think at the time we were saying that it's post World War II where there seems to be a new normal, a new normalcy. Like people are fitting in life again, things are peaceful. Because actually life from where he's coming from, there was not like there was no sense of like poverty or you know people would just chill, just kind of chill, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he doesn't feel enough, and he's like sparks something. He goes after it. Now, I like the movie in an aspect of like it's not a clear movie where it's like there's a goody two shoes who's like the good character when you and like you identify with them, and then there's a bad character what you're supposed to hate. Now, even the antagonist of the Japanese table tennis player, we could say that guy's actually decent. Like he's just playing and he's representing his country. He doesn't really have anything against Marty. And actually, when like Marty asked him to really play for real, he did play for real. So the antagonist actually has a lot of aspect of himself that he could be his own hero for his nation. And also like the another antagonist is the businessman. He was also just like he want to do business. He want to sell pens. He's also just doing stuff. And Marty actually come in and like slept with his wife, which is like just so there's a lot of gray areas. And so I was talking with Frank in preparation of this live stream. It's more like a Greek story where you have a sense of destiny. You have a sense of fate. You don't really operate based on truth or evil. Like you don't think in moralizing aspect.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies nowadays and TV shows kind of deals with that ambiguity, that gray area. You don't know who the protagonist is or who the antagonist is, and it's just people put in a situation,
Hmm.
just kind of like a lot of the cause and conditions, and they're just kind of doing their best to play the cards that they're dealt with. Yeah, I just watched the TV show Task. It's a little bit like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think right now the world can be very quick to moralizing situation, right? That's good, that's bad, and rightfully so. Like there is many things that is, you know, terrible that's happening in ways that we can see like, oh, people are really suffering, and but we also is kind of like in a phase where maybe less so now, but definitely we were seeing the pendulum swinging in the ways of, you can't say certain things that politically incorrect. And and the reason why you can't say those things was coming from a stance of like, hey, there's a lot of people that's hurt by the system. There's a lot of people that's mistreated, and we're caring more for certain folks like that, and we want to increase equality. So all these kind of like balancing of the system is kind of position ourselves to do a lot of reflection about what we stand for. So in that way, there's also a lot of gray ambiguity that a lot of movies want to play it safe, or people want to play it safe. So then it even talks about the pursuit of greatness as something like, hey, I want to try again. I don't want just to be like a passerby, an inactive player. Even if I'm flawed, even if I'm so and so and so, I want to strive for something great. I want to dedicate. I want to pursue excellence and greatness. So that's like the part that really sparked a very interesting conversation, right? Which is similar to the movie Whiplash. It's also like in the pursuit
Oh,
of greatness. Was that?
yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah, I saw it a while ago. What are you gonna say about the episode of Greatness? I forgot what the movie was about, but I just maybe him getting abused by his instructor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Kind of
it,
reminded me of more than it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like that pursuit of greatness and the people that he stepped on.
yeah,
It's like the ambiguity. It's like Michael Jordan definitely inspired a lot of people, but
yeah,
all his teammates are traumatized, right? People in his lives, and it's kind of like the spiritual path in a sense. Like sometimes I reflect back on my own path. It's like, oh, actually, there's a lot of people that got entangled in my tornado when I was going through like my unfoldments and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But it justifies. Oh, Frank is just doing this. You have the realization. You can share it, but at the same time, like I went through a lot of reflections in different phases where I really have to like reflect on like even my parents, my ex girlfriends, people that were like got like swept into the whirlpool of my like those dark night moments and
yeah.
just getting lost in the sauce, right? Getting lost in the sauce. Yeah,
Lost in the sauce. Yeah.
yeah. And it really only up to that as well, right?
Yeah. Which is, I don't know, there was a moment in the movies where Martin like expressed that he feels like he's cursed, right?
Mm, really?
Like for him, it's like you may think that this passion thing that I have a duty to carry out is a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that too.
Like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm cursed. I have to see this through. I have no other choice. I am
Mm,
cursed with this ambition.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I felt a lot like that when I was creating art. When I didn't even particularly enjoy creating that much at some point. But it's just like a drive. Like if I didn't create, I would feel even worse. But the
Right,
act of
right.
creating, there was so much metaphysical stress. Now I had fun too, but at the same time, it's almost like I had to do this. Or like even the spiritual path, right? Yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah,
don't know where it comes from, really.
yeah.
Because like you say, you can analyze it. It's just your karma, and the phenomenons compound, and it's just going too fast. One thing after another, one thing after another. It's almost like how much is it? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like sometimes the inspirations can be very dark and very yeah, like you said, it's like almost like the devil made me do it or something like that.
The movie could have ended really different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's two endings actually in the movie. Yeah, fuck it out. We're gonna spoil it for people. If people haven't watched it, maybe you pause this, come watch it, and maybe we're gonna discuss later. But if you guys have watched it, it's fine. Let's talk about the ending. So, like we're saying, the story goes, Marty is living in his post-World War II life. He really have an ambition to be a ping pong superstar in a time where people don't really care about ping pong at all. So he's going through this journey, have a tornado unraveling in order for him to be the champion. In the meantime, like people get killed, uh, things get involved, debt gets involved, making the money, lost the money, cops get involved, blah, blah, blah. But then he finally got to the position to play the game with the best of the best, and he won. He won the game, right? And then the ending, the actual ending is like in the process, he's saying like, "This is the curse. Um, that's not my baby." His kind of girlfriend, who he his girlfriend, his kind of like his side piece really, was actually married, but she loves him. So he's just constantly like gaming people without taking responsibilities. So when the child, the movie opened with him like ejaculating into her, right? And like having a kid, but he denies that. So the ending of the movie is once when everything is said and done, he come back to America, he hold a baby, and he cries, like broke down in tears. I believe that's because for the first time in his life, he actually connect to another human being.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, Albert said something interesting recently. He said a man just has to do something other than for himself, like at some point. Whether that's for most people, it's having a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
And to really like step into like manhood, he has to like just really do something other than for himself.
Yeah, for other, right? Like truly open yours, like it's just not your war anymore. It's somebody else's war as well.
Yeah. Well, you said two endings. You mean, like, this alternative ending, or are you talking about like actually in the movie? Because I don't remember there being two endings.
All right. So the second endings, which they prepared the prop for, but they didn't. I think they may have filmed it, but they didn't. It didn't make the cut
Okay,
because it would change
it's
the
only
movie.
one version.
Another
Right, right,
version, right? So another version,
right.
like how when he was making the final, like about to go in and doing the last match, and the
Mm.
Mr. Wonderful guy, the businessman, he say like, "Hey, I'm actually a vampire. I've been here forever, and you're not gonna win this. I want to make sure." So the alternative ending is that when Marty was in New York, there is a lurking shadow comes out, bite him in the neck, and it's revealed that he's actually a fucking vampire.
Oh, that's crazy. That would be a totally different movie.
So that would effectively restructure the entire movie to have metaphysical forces that has
Mm.
evil in the world. That Mr. Wonderful and the power that be that control and like pull these strings is vampiric.
Mm, interesting.
That's
It's a different
completely like
disposition.
that's like
Wait,
completely metaphysically a different movie, right?
So they decided to go with the ending that we get, not that
So they
one.
decided to go with the ending that he connect to fatherhood, connect to the sense of goodness, and I don't know, like that's how I interpret it, right? Like being a father is connected to goodness because now you're living for a child, you accept him, and maybe he's gonna marry that girl, or he's gonna sort out some situation. He can't deny anymore that this is real. He accept that he's his baby, and he's accept a reality, things like that, right? But the other ending would be there is dark forces in that war, and Marty was playing a very dangerous game.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I prefer this ending. I'm not. Yeah, if you know me, I'm not too into the esoteric stuff.
Yeah, so there is one version of the movie which is completely make the movie into esoteric.
Mm,
And the other version, which is the version that we got, makes it more about a meditation on ambition, fate, and destiny.
mm. Yeah, yeah. That one seems a lot more fitting for modernity. Or like the status of the war right now. I can relate to that a little bit more, I think.
So in terms of the context of the movies, and I think this may maybe speak to your sensibility as well, Frank. But I always view you, especially like you use the word my favorite piece of video you ever made is the Odyssey of Aesthetic. That
Yeah.
video, that one, right? Like, you know, like maybe the audience following Frank also know that videos. Video even had, I think, like Joji comment like
Yeah.
you are the most creative artist that I've ever known or something like that. So people know like
Yeah.
there's some real interesting like spark that is captured by that particular one. And that's like 10 years ago, 2016, right? When you pop that. So
The
similar
move that I made right before I got into
spirituality.
Vipassana. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. At the end, I had a shot of me sitting in front of a white tunnel, like a block. It's like in a museum, but it was like a tunnel, and I was sitting in front of the tunnel just meditating. But at that time, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But after
Right.
that phase, you get really deep into spirituality, awakening, non-duality, and I think that was like the end of my identity as an artist. And I was capturing that actually. There was a okay. I see where this is going. It's almost like there's a sense of urgency when I was doing these things because I knew it was gonna exhaust. It's the same with when I'm like sleeping with a lot of women. It's like I have to do this because number one, I know this is gonna help me exhaust that karma, even though I didn't articulate it that way when I was doing it. There was a sense of urgency. It's like you have to see this through. That's a really good phrase to describe what I was feeling. You have to see this through. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, okay, if I don't do this now, I'll never get a chance to do it. I don't know why, but I feel like there's a almost like a like you came up with a new phrase called like the expired being, right? It's almost like I
Right. Right.
knew that being is gonna be expired, and it's like almost like this paradox. Like okay, I have to do this in order to exhaust it. And at the same time, I know it's gonna be exhausted regardless, so I better do it now because it's gonna get exhausted. But by doing that, I'm exhausting it. Yeah.
Mm.
That even in the spirituality phase, right? That some of the karma also got carried over to the spirituality phase, right? That's the making a mixtape, in
Right.
my full natty like awakening
Right.
video. I had this whole like montage of me going through it, and it's like okay, even during that phase, I was like, okay, I think one day I'm gonna just not care about talking about spirituality that much anymore, which is happening right
Oh.
now. Yeah, but I was like, if I don't put it out there, it's just gonna exhaust,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
out there help me exhaust at the same time. So it's very similar, actually. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that's why I see, like, for example, what it means by that is that when you capture and create, and coming from that stance of just documenting your life, it create a kind of like a pathway for people to follow the trail in their own way, which I did, right? I followed the trail. I also go to Vipassana, going through certain ways, but then I see that, okay, my path is a little bit different. I also have to decide on my own, branch out in that way. But I took your path for a while. What I see in this way, in relation to Marty Supreme, is that I see that your Odyssey, going through all these ups and down life obstacles, is the Greek aesthetic of what life's about, an examination of the force that drives you in the pursuit of finding the true form, the true soul, like the
Right,
true
right.
aesthetic, right? The
Yeah,
Platonic form,
Platonic form. Yeah, 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 yeah. Finding the
yeah,
Platonic form.
which is
And then it's funny. At the end of the video, I said, "This is not your final form yet," or something. But you kind of just chasing your own tail.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
I see Marty Supreme as a similar movies that is very different because it's capturing the aesthetic of an Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like when you're going on an Odyssey, you don't operate based on right and wrong. You
Yeah,
operate based on fate and destiny.
logic. Yeah, it's almost like a fate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So like a lot of times when people ask like, okay, I want to go on a hero's journey, I want to go on like this quest to find my purpose, my passion, my those things, right? It's actually they must be willing to break right and wrong in certain ways, right? Because if you're goody two shoe of like, oh, I'm just gonna do what society tell me to do, then you're never gonna break out. So that's why
Yeah.
in that phase, your videos, a lot of things is very transgressive. It's very, breaking the boundaries, breaking social norms, like stripping naked, doing weird shit, just like mind fucking people so that they see that, oh, he's transgressing. He's not supposed to do like this. But like people actually feel like you can actually feel a certain energy when you transgress. When you break rules,
Mm,
it gives you energy.
mm,
This
I see.
is
That's interesting.
this is a slippery slope because that could
Mm.
easily make you corrupted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because when you break rules, it gets you a certain high. You can mistake that high to be the divine signal, which
yeah,
then makes you addicted to that cycle of breaking rules, drugs, sex,
yeah.
the party life,
It's almost
fame.
a there's a gonna be a point where you feel like you're breaking rules just to break rules. So in a sense, you're kind of still memeing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's even going to be beyond even that, right? It's like, okay, you realize you're memeing your whole life, but then now you get into like, oh, I'm gonna stop memeing everybody else, but then you're just memeing, like not memeing. So then there's a risk of like just breaking rule for its own sake.
yeah.
But where's that line, right? Fine line between getting lost in your own sauce of trying to break rules for its own sake and actually transgressing, actually doing something that's inspiring and nourishing for yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is I think like at the end maybe we see that Marty did get to the end of his fate where he did got like the beat the number one player in his own hometown and like play the revenge like he got the title that he wanted. But then he find that at the other side it just simple love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. It almost feels like a fever dream. Yeah, like a fever dream. Like he constantly is trying to like wake up from, but at the same time, like he wants to keep perpetuating that dream. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's just simple love in that way. So then I guess that's why, like, for example, we will talk much later, but one of the things I've been, like I'm saying, I've been going into more studying what the war is about, how we come to this moment. But like simple love is the message or the sharing of, for example, like Christ or unconditional love. People want to be like that, right? But this gets tricky because once you try to do that in the world that doesn't accept simple love, then you got to play the game of corrupting power. Because the moment that you get any source of power, you risk certain abuse, you risk misusing your power and all those things. Which Marty
Mm,
did. Like he abused other people to get what he want, right? Because he's charismatic, he's confident, he has that bravado, he's got that swag, and he just moves around and just game people constantly to the point that it's just constantly take too much risk. And it's just like, for example, the thing with the necklace, right? Like he could easily have not just kiss the girl and then go home. But no, he gotta like risk having public sex and then own those shit. And just constantly like get wrapped up in that.
yeah, like the movie review I was reading, it says Marty was lying not to survive, but he was lying to exist, right? It's also almost like a very essential thing. It's like more than survival for him.
Yeah.
So why do you think the ending, like you could relate to the ending? You said something about like your own
Oh,
journey and yeah.
yeah. So I can relate to the ending for two reasons. One is more recent, and one is about 2 years ago when we first started CC together, CC1, CC2, and then I started practicing Twim. So I started like, okay, what if the basis is to generate your own self-love? What would life be if you come from a position of abundance? Like you shift your state from chasing insecurity to that of like generating, exuding abundance, right? So at first
Mm,
I couldn't do that. So then when I started to do that, a lot of like then also transmuting my anger, doing a lot of stuff, like just expressing and coming as I am, as we say nowadays in CC lingo. Uh, but then I see that I starting to see that, okay, I got myself into this kind of odyssey, quitting own career from Vietnam, going online, going into the war of, like sharks where people scam each other, online marketing, making money online. On this war, people just get a lot of shady characters in this group of people that I was hanging around with. But I did manage to connect with some really good, solid people. And from that, I started to like band together, build skills, make some mistakes, correct some mistakes, and then reach out to you, which the Odyssey is like, reach, okay, now we connected. Now I'm doing something meaningful with my life. But then I would actually see that once we start to see together, which is essentially I achieved my dream, right? I was still unhappy. And then I have to confront that. So then we did the twin thing. But now I was like, okay, something's different. And once those non-dualities and these opening really dawned, one of the first thing that happened was I reconnected to the people in my life, like to my girlfriend at the time, to my parents, and I just see like, oh shit, I was just running away from them the whole time, the whole fucking time.
Like that when we were doing Twin. But then recently you kind of started reconnecting with them again, right? With your lineage.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's like cycles and cycles of these things,
yeah,
right?
cycle and cycle of it. Yeah,
Yep. It's not just a one-time thing. Yeah, yeah. It's like you kind of renounce from a certain part of yourself.
yeah,
Sometimes you don't know if you're actually running away from it or you're actually renouncing from it, and it's not that
right.
clear, right?
It's
And
not
then
that clear.
you, yeah, process of reclaiming yourself, and then it's not. Yeah, it's almost like coming as you are, right? Paying homage to your afflictions.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then at the end, it's almost like you. Yeah, sometimes at the end, you just look at your mom and your brother, like at least I'm home right now, and just like, oh, all this crazy like realization, esoteric stuff. So it's not like, yeah. Sometimes you just look at my mom, right, and then you're just like, oh, it's a lot
yeah,
more simple. Just walking your dog and yeah, 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 that kind of feeling. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
So more recently is so my older brother had a son, and he so I become an uncle about like a month ago. I think like exactly a month ago, I become an uncle. So from that
Congrats.
moment, I'm starting to see and reconsider a lot of things about my life. Because then I'm starting to see when I'm going to get a kid. When
Yeah.
am I ready to be a father? And started to contemplate about that. Because my brother is now a father. What's
He's
that?
older. How
He's
old
an
is your
older
brother?
brother. He's 6 years older. Yeah.
I know you also have a pretty complicated relationship with your brother, right?
Yeah. So like a lot of fractured, but then it's very similar to the way that I was projecting onto you. I was also projecting on my brother, which is like, you need to be
Mm.
more ambitious. You need to be more ambitious. Things like that. But now I'm actually seeing like, wait a minute. He's settling down. He's having a kid. He's taking care of, like, he's still working. He's making money. Sometimes he spend a little bit too much on clothes, which I find troublesome. But it's fine. It's really fine. So like I was just looking at the whole situation of like, I love my family. And it's a simple recognition that
Yeah,
unlocked
yeah,
a lot of things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to make the same point. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
my mom,
so a lot of reconsideration.
the dog. She's just happy with the dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was actually starting to question, wait, what if the basis is just that simple love, a simple connection that we feel secure, we feel good enough? And then a lot of the time, it's just that we constantly getting tilted out of balance to then go chase something.
Yeah. I'll
Because
read a book called like How to Know a Person. It's about how to, making human connections and stuff like that. And the author said that sometimes when you just hang out with somebody with no agenda at all, you can know about a person just by watching how you interact with the waiter more than having a philosophical conversation with him. And it's in those moments where you're just hanging out with no agendas that you can really connect with that person and then flowing through this life like a dream with them. You know, yeah, just the most simple thing becomes the most divine sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Which then makes this whole I don't know, awakening thing very interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
I'm
because
thinking
it's
about awakening stuff actually, right? But then
yeah.
this need to like tell everyone about it, or just sometimes I look at my mom, it's like, she's kind of course she's suffering, but like before I would sometimes like try to get her to read like Osho and stuff like that. But it's
Right,
like
right, right.
I should just meet her where she's at. If she wants to like, be happy with the dog, I can look after the dog with her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of the change was like I had a long call with my mom recently as well. An old pattern comes up where like she goes into that kind of like caring mode, but it's very kind of like pessimistic. But like, oh, what if things go wrong? Are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for that? I get very annoyed by that because it feels like she's not supporting me. But then I was seeing that pattern plays out again, and then I was contending with, and then I connected the dots also like about the way that I was shouting at you, and then I was seeing, wait a minute, what if I'm angsty and I'm trying to prove somebody something, and there's still that karma that is playing out? What if I listen to my mom? And then I see physical reaction of not wanting to do that. Like, got it. I need to do that. So I need to open to the possibility that, oh, maybe mom has a lot of good points. And I need to hear her out and see her wisdom. Because otherwise I would always fight against them, right? Always resist, and like I would go from the position of like, oh, I'm practiced all this meditation, understand all these like sacred texts. You don't, therefore I should be the one that teach you. But then I was like, oh, but then I just continuously maintain this frame of there is an awakened person here and there's an unawakened person here, which is not very awakened thing to do. Then I would see like this is just retarded. So I collapse that, just be with her, and then I see like, oh, that was a fear of intimacy that was not allowing that to happen.
Yeah, it's almost like what we tell the acolytes, right? Like maybe you were just using spirituality as a crutch
Yeah,
to not face the most obvious things that you have to face.
yeah,
Yeah, even like with my brother too. I feel like I'm trying to connect with him a little bit more, but I feel like it's pretty difficult to connect with him, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
then, yeah, it was like, why can't I just ask my brother to hang out?
yeah. I mean, like
Yeah,
let's be real a moment, right? Like we've known each other. We've been working with each other for like 2.5 years, close to 3 years now, and we barely get to know each other. Like sometimes we hang out, sometimes we don't. There's like people are so different. Like there's take a lot of energy for us to get close with each other, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like we have two completely different worlds going on. What would be the cause of somebody to hang out at that level of intimacy, like really hang out, especially the people who's like kind of really close to us. That sometimes is the least, like we is the person we want to hang out with the least.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like I was reading that book, and it says that sometimes the people that are closest to you, it's like you can't see them.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's so interesting. Yeah, it's such a like married couple too. It's almost like there's like some kind of research that says like the more the couple are married, the longer they're married, the less they see each other. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's one of the thing I was recontextualize a lot of things, which is reconsider how me and my wife was relating with each other. And we see that, oh, there is a lot of different ideas and assumptions that I was carrying around, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong about how to see reality. Like if we talk about non-affirmative negation all the time, right? Then the truth shall persist under own investigations.
Yeah,
Like
I
that should
think
be the
that was
case.
the time when you really was trying to get your wife to get into Buddha Dharma too, right?
Yeah, and
You got
now,
to church with her, right? Because she's the one that started going to church first, right?
I'm actually following her.
Yeah.
Like
Interesting.
I'm actually now following her and like learn from her and from the different aspect. And then we now try to have a relationship in which that I say certain things, she counter with this, she says certain things, and then I counter with this. And actually from that, there's a much richer perspective and like a refinement of view that just happened from being open with one another. That maybe previously I was too conceited to allow that to happen, or I was too afraid of intimacy because that means that I even need to show her even more of the side of myself that I don't even want to see myself. You
Have you
know,
noticed those changes?
what's that?
Has your wife noticed those changes, like whatever you're going through right now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We talk much more open. Yeah, we become much closer. We are reconsidering a lot of things, because now we're also talking about how we want to build a family, what that's going to look like. And I'm also not like even pushing on you on anything, right? Like you just you do whatever you like you live your own lifestyle. But I'm just more. I'm just seeing more of like, oh, I really enjoy East Asian style family. I understand it comes with a lot of baggage, a lot of like heaviness that has a big group of people just gathering around. But I like that. And I want to position myself maybe in a few years to go in that trajectories. I don't really enjoy this kind of just husband and wife and then children and then nothing else. I don't like this.
Wow. Yeah, you just get your own house and then you get your own backyard and the white fence. It's almost like you had to leave Vietnam in order to
To
appreciate it.
appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
reclaim.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
And I, like I'm also not seeing Vietnam from like a pink rose glass because like I lived my whole life being super critical of that lifestyle,
Mm.
of like how that is like suppressing emotions, how people are not expressing what they really feel, how they're missing out, how they actually is very shallow and superficial and so on and so forth. But I was also not admitting to myself that there was a lot of beauty and good in that as well.
Yeah, I think I went through something similar when remember when back in the days when I was doing a lot of pranks and stunt videos in Taiwan, I got arrested for like harassing a nun and having sex on the street naked, and the whole Taiwanese crowd just like hated me. Like I was on a newspaper, but then at that time I just really hated Taiwan. I was like, yeah, I'm so much better than
Right.
you. It's like I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
philosophy, and I came to the States and did all this collabs with like American
Yeah.
YouTubers, yeah, and talking shit about Taiwan, and then uh, much later on, and I got to really appreciate Taiwan. Yeah, and it's like, oh, Taiwan is actually the shit. And then I went to Taiwan. I was like so proud to be Taiwanese, and I wanted to like tell everybody about Taiwan. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I haven't been to Taiwan in like 2 years, 3 years, but I'm actually probably gonna go back soon. Actually, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'm going through that phase right now, which is a big part because like when this is the case, a lot of the expired being is
yeah,
resurrected with a new
yeah,
sensibility. It's like
yeah, yeah.
reintegrated and like it's much more aligned and holistic in that way.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, which is like it's like okay, there's some of the comments that say about is it about uh, bypassing? Like sure, this is a lot of it's about bypassing, but it's also like it's a blind spot that you literally can't see until the condition arises and like, oh, I can't not see this anymore. I have to recognize because you continue to rest and trust whatever is coming up, getting reintegrated, getting gather and gather and gather, right? And it's hard to see the whole picture. And then the resting here is also just like the unclench of just like, oh, doesn't need to have a being that is trying to claim this to be me. Doesn't need to
Yeah.
be, right? Just allow and roll with that. And now re-engaging with a new sensibility that we can say this is an outflow of love. We can say this is like a genuine friendship that just having an interest in the other and not just solely for self-interest, looking out for one another, covering for one another, and all these aspects which we see that as we train with people in the boot camp, practice together, a lot of times we have to almost like deprogram a lot of people from, don't really want to do this, right? We want to be in our own cocoon and just like, no, 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 no.
What else are people saying in the comments?
All right, let me see.
That's what people are saying.
Uh, do you guys have any question for us? Let me read something
Yeah,
out. But
going back to the boot camp, we're at the fourth week now. Yeah, and so the end of phase one. Yeah.
yeah. There's a comment say the director of Whiplash actually said he imagined both the teacher and a student died in horrible ways. Suicide for the main character also. He said in margin much darker endings than people wanted. That makes sense. Yeah, like we can see a kind of like a trajectory in which they develop like a kind of like a twisted relationship, right? Where
I
the
don't remember the movie
teacher,
that much.
you don't remember that?
I don't know. I don't remember the movie that much, but I remember kind of relating to like me practice the violin,
Hmm.
but yeah, but I didn't remember that movie that much.
Yeah. I really like that director. I like
What else did he do? The
he
director.
did Whiplash, he did La La Land, and then most recently he did Babylon, the movie about Hollywood history, movies history. Really good. Very underrated, I would say.
Never heard of it. Mm.
It's about like the whole multiple trajectories of the relationship people have with fame and recognition and
Mm.
what it means to share art. And there
Mm.
is like one narrative of a girl who's full of talent, like extremely talented as a performer, but she also wrapped up into this machine that just eat people. And there's also this high rise actor who see how he's running out of time. Like people just don't like him anymore and how he lives with that. And then we also see people who just like normal guys who got involved in that and just like own the entanglement that he got himself into. And then he removed himself from that life. And then he see that when he come back, it was just like, oh, the Hollywood that people come to know is made of a lot of dark stuff.
It makes sense with recent Epstein's files, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening actually. I don't really read the news, but
Yeah. Which is, I think that we need to
yeah,
develop a pretty strong like the advice about not watching news and watching control mass media is a good idea, right? Because if we know that there's a lot of like programming and conditioning and directing the narratives of the general populace, then we know that we probably need to think for ourselves. But we also know that thinking for ourselves is very taxing because we are tired and have things to do. So a lot of times we just can't think for ourselves. So then we're just gonna get programmed. So then do we choose which program do we want to, well, absorb ourselves into? Most likely, we're not conscious of that. Therefore, we have like addictions, pornographic addiction, addiction to materialism of like the next shiny things, addiction to this aesthetic or that aesthetic, and all those things, right? We just constantly get a program to want those things. And we can say at the core of it is evil, is soul sucking, is robbing you of your fundamental goodness and your enjoyment of life. We can say a lot of those things. That is not good, but also, I guess I'm not making an excuse for it, but I can see how people would reason from that is a way that like a necessary evil to band people together to make them gain like rising the consciousness of the species now that they are having to forcefully think about this. Because some esoteric circles and some esoteric text is talking about, this is a time that you get to decide.
at the end of Dharma, we're in
Yeah,
about
like
it.
like
Yeah.
that kind of thing, right? Just like you get to decide now. Because if you constantly choose yourself in that direction of constantly getting condition, then you're just gonna be a conditioned being who's just gonna consumed by the machine. But if you can choose to deprogram yourself at all cost, meaning like just renounce, reconnect, rekindle, all those things in whatever medium, right? It doesn't have to be Buddha Dharma. In whatever medium that works for you, then you get rise and you rise beyond the push and pulls of samsara into your true nature.
Yeah, I just saw this new AI video on Instagram. It's pretty crazy. Like it's yeah, you literally have just like one picture, and then you can direct the whole movie. And
Yeah,
the quality is as good as like Pixar. It's like the same company that did a TikTok or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna start looking into AI a little bit more because I've been playing around with AI just for pictures, and I was like, there's a lot that it's going and it's gonna like moving so fast. It's like Ryan said, it's like you have no idea
yeah,
what it's gonna be like in like 2 months or 6 months. It's like
yeah,
it feels like everything that we learn is gonna be in vain somehow. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's a certain sense of freedom in that as well, though. Yeah.
yeah,
And I was telling my partner that even like models will be going out of work soon too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they could just generate a machine, and because we're so conditioned to just look at screens, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some Instagram pages like really beautiful girls that you can't even tell anymore. It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah. So there's a question. Since awakening, I've lost my desire or excitement in things I used to enjoy, travel, etc. I'm content and enjoying just being. Is this common?
Yeah, yeah. I've been talking about how like you go in phases of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
There are phases where, I mean, you can do both simultaneously. You can just be happy with being and exert simultaneously. Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't be one with the other. But there are phases where you kind of have to renounce from your old conditioning patterns. You literally have to stop doing whatever that you were conditioned to do for a while. Like Tyson, he had to renounce from like working out for a while, but then he found his way to reclaim that part of him, turning his karma into dharma. But there will be phases where you lose interest in a lot of the things that you used to do. But each time you come back from it, it just feels less attached to the outcome. And then you're doing the things that you love to do, you're exerting, but then you're still being.
Yeah, I would say that there's well, this is some of the consideration that I have. It doesn't have to apply to this individual. So I'm not trying to override what you're feeling. But I've noticed that there could be this. I remember the moment of non-duality starting to be apparent, the truth starting to be apparent in that way. There is this ontological release, but I can't make sense of the war yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like the war out there is still like very confusing. People are still confusing to me. I don't understand why people do certain ways that they do. So then one reaction would be to cocoon and build your own paradise,
Yeah, yeah,
which
like
we
that,
say that
right?
solitary realization, right? Right. But if we say right now we have an interest in helping the neighbors, helping our family, helping others in whatever ways that we can, we take a position in which we expand. So now we train to also exert in a skillful ways, not to try, because otherwise we risk like forcing people on, right? Actually, when I come to the state, the moment I just let my wife do her thing and not trying to force, she grows so fast.
Mm.
It's pretty amazing. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm.
But like I'm constantly also just choosing to stay with her, be with her, and share interests, right? Because then the question for people who have uh, Tika Rinpoche say something about, yeah, the first realization we can say the realization of the emptiness of self, but that emptiness may not know how to love yet.
Yeah.
So the second is that the emptiness knows how to love.
Yeah,
That's
that's
different.
it makes sense. A lot of people get into Christ consciousness after non-duality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then they knows how to love, right? But then that's tricky because now you're playing with a dangerous game.
How
Like we
so?
play because it's like because otherwise, if you overextend, activists die on the cross, assassinated. You speak the truth in a war of lies, you get persecuted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If everybody's cheating in the class and you raise your hand, hey teacher, everybody's cheating. What do you think is going to happen?
It's almost like the Western mind is still recovering from that trauma, like Christ dying on the cross. Do you know CC also stands for Christ consciousness?
What was that?
CC is also standing for Christ consciousness too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I thought of that the other day. I was like, oh man, Count is like into Christianity now. That's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, because
It's
like
like,
we did the HR Tantra today, like had a really deep absorption, and then a lot of what we talk about in the initiates level is well, bridging that gap between Christianity and Buddhism actually. Yeah, and this whole relationship between like creation and the Tathagata, right? We don't have to go there, but it makes sense why you're into Christianity now, I think. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I also think of myself as quite like I hate to admit it, but I think I'm quite simple.
Mm.
I think I just just want to have a good time, want to laugh, want to watch cool stuff, and want to love people, want to take care of certain things. That's very fucking simple. But sometimes I can be caught up in my own passion.
Yeah, I'm reading Murakami's book about how to write. Like there was a book that he didn't want to publish that book, but then he just put it in his drawer. But then one day this magazine asked him if he wants to write anything for the column, and he started to release him slowly. Then he made a book out of it. He wrote more chapters on it. Then he said like he's barely conscious of the fact that he's a writer.
Mm.
He said in real life he's so ordinary that you if he didn't write novels, like there's nothing about him that would stand out. Yeah, it's really interesting. He said he does realize he has an innate ability to write, but then he has to write in a very specific way. Yeah. And he says writers are very competitive, actually. If you put like two writers in the same room, most likely they're not going to be best friends. Because in his example of like James Joyce and Marshall Duchamp, no, not Marshall Duchamp, whoever wrote the, who's that writer that wrote something about time? You know what I'm talking about?
No, no, I'm not very familiar with writers.
Marshall Proust and James Joyce were in the
Oh,
same
oh,
room
the
together.
French guy.
Yeah, yeah, they're both in the same room together in a dinner party, and they didn't even talk to each other because everybody around there was like, "What are they gonna say to each other?" It almost kind of reminds me. Sometimes Mei Chen would say like solo realizers. They don't really connect
They
with
don't
each other.
like each other, right?
They don't like each other. Yeah, you get this YouTuber over here, this other YouTuber over there. They don't really talk to each other that much. And then I'm just like a lot of the CC's training is like, how do we? Because like there's numbers of not to realize beings in CC. Like all the mentors are not to realize, and part of our training is just to relate. Like, how do you get a group of people who are have reached personal liberation to work together?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. When we all have that tendency to, we're free in our own cocoon. Yeah, why do we need to relate? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Albert shared. Right? Albert's one of our instructors leading the mentors right now. He shares, he sees a lot of communities with like free being. People who
Yeah.
have realized
Work together, right?
they don't. There's no reason for them to stay. It's just
Yeah,
like I'm out.
yeah, yeah.
It's actually like that. Like he say that in his tradition, um, well, what he observed a lot of times, like the students needs to like really implore the teachers to stay, because otherwise they will just be like, I
Mm,
don't like you guys anymore. I'm just out.
mhm.
It's like they have barely have any kind of like attachment in that way, right? They're just out.
You
Fine.
would think like a bunch of solo realizers who would be best friends, or like a bunch of people who realize self-emptiness, they'll have no problem being best friends.
Oh, how so?
You would think that, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
they're just gonna like live in a freaking a Pure Lands or something. But then
Yeah,
you
but
have to have the feelings for that actually. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because once you sign to really coming as you are, that means that you would honor your preference, you would honor how your personality is molded.
That's
But
exactly what Murakami
personality
said about
would
writers.
cause friction, right? It would cause friction.
Yeah, that's exactly what Murakami said about writers. He said good writers, they all have their own way of like looking at the world. Yeah, yeah, and then they're
Yeah.
all pretty egoistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and they wouldn't yield their war, right? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they wouldn't yield. So like why
To
would
them,
they be
more
friends?
like so, it's almost like you cannot argue with people who are realize emptiness, because to them that the whatever appearances filter through their realization is that they're very certain that's the world, which
Oh,
they're right, right? Yeah, yeah. But then we have to relate to other people from that perspective. That's where it gets a little tricky.
yeah. So one of the thing, one of the most recent thing when I was really recalibrating, reconsidering what this path, what this life is about for me, I was seeing these things like, if this is the case, and I prioritize friendship with you guys, fuck it. I'm just gonna renounce my realization.
Mm,
Don't
mm,
care.
mm,
If it step in the way of like, I know that then I would not stand on authority to try to overpower you because I'm having this special thing. I would
mm.
just, if that special thing gets in the way of love, then fuck that special thing.
Yo, Khan, you said that you were like a creative nomad, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Yeah, tell the audience what that means because it's a very interesting term.
Oh,
Because I'm kind of the opposite actually. Like, I'm kind of like Murakami. Like, he just found his voice and he just did. He writes it in almost the same style for like 35 years.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like even David Lynch or like a lot of artists, they just found their style. Like Cezanne, like just one style and they just do it all life. But
I
you're
think,
kind of,
yeah,
yeah,
I think like your style is like you build a well and you dig very deep and you
yeah,
just keep having that source
yeah.
and you just come and sometimes that would change a little bit, right? But most of the time it would be,
Most of the time, it's actually quite similar. If you even like we did an episode, we analyzed my art. It's like, oh, my new streamer video, the thumbnail is exactly the same as was streamer like the thumbnail like 10 years ago.
yeah.
Like,
So
like my internal experience is vastly different, but in some sense, I'm like the same dude. Right?
yeah, yeah. So on my side, I think that there is well, we could say the creative nomad in the way of like I really enjoy different perspectives and different things coming together. Um, um,
But you get bored of an idea pretty quickly. That's like your blessing and your curse, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It could be that case that I get bored of ideas pretty fast. Um, But I reckon that this also would mean that I'm constantly gravitated towards people and what they're about so that I can learn, appreciate, highlight their gift and all those things. And then as long as I'm starting, I'm always aware of, I'm gravitating towards learning and being appreciative of others, I would be fulfilled very easily as well. Because there's always something to be appreciative. So when I look at movies, I look at music, I look at people, there was something to be appreciative of that. And I think like, okay, the creative nomad thing is kind of like a play on the word Khan, like the English name that I picked for myself, which like the Khan comes from the Mongols, and the Mongols are nomads, right? They move around, they pick the best of the best, which I also like that, and that's also why I create the maestro things, wanted to do CC, and like group all these interesting people together to make something cool. But also, if I take from my Vietnamese roots, it's just that there's that aspect of me, which is like the communal life where we just share and dance and look at each other and be spontaneously creative. Just talk about whatever. So I don't like rigid things that we're gonna like. This is what I'm about, or like point number one, two, three, four, five, and that's all I'm about forever. I don't like that. I don't like rigid things.
Yeah, like every Saturday review, even though we talk about the elements every cohort, like your way of presenting is different every time.
Yeah, so it's like that's natural to me, right?
Like you refuse to make the same slides, show the same slide. Well, I'm happy just showing the same video. It's just like feel okay. I just watched my video 10 years ago, but I do like sharing my new ones too. Though.
Yeah.
Charge my phone.
Right.
What
Let's
else is Marty talking about?
let's
Any,
finish on some of the chat. Quick
yeah.
question. Uh, we got Lord Picky 42. Hey Frank, follow for a long time, and I remember you posting about Kanye's Bound 2 video clip, and you call it the most uninspired piece of shit. I wonder if your opinions on Kanye have changed.
Oh shit, interesting. I didn't even remember posting that. Maybe I posted on my Facebook before. Yeah, I actually listened to Kanye West for the first time because of Con, like maybe like a month ago. I went through like his greatest hit when I was driving to my girlfriend's house. I had like 3 hour drive, and I just listened to a lot of stuff. I was like quite impressed. He made me actually contemplate a lot about like the nature of like creativity and like madness, and like I can relate to him and stuff. Yeah. But and then it's almost like after I listened to that like one of his playlists. After that, I'm just like, oh okay, I forgot about him. But you can have a Kanye day.
Yeah, that's like I'm also very inspired by Kanye in that way because each project is completely different.
Mm.
Completely different. Like you got the college dropout, late registration. Is now he's like going with symphony. He have the strings in. He has like orchestra, a lot of things. And then when he go make graduation, is now like incorporated different style, starting to have different beats, starting incorporating aesthetic from. That's very unique each time like that. And then when like it really popped off into like 808 and heartbeats, where he like now singing about heartbreaks. His mom passed away. Um, Now he's dealing with his sense of loss. So like his show at the time was Glowing in the Dark. So like fast forward to Bound 2 when it's Make Jesus, and that's like the last song I believe on the album, which is like a love song dedicated to him, right? But
Yeah.
at that time he was trying to break into the fashion industry and he's just sick of the boxes. So he's actually purposefully making one of the worst video ever to like fuck all the other stuff that's trying to be pretentious. It's like I
Mm.
want to make like a Photoshop, like clumsy Photoshop version of a music video, and I want to make that.
Well, that was his intention.
Was that?
I didn't know that was his intention.
I like
Maybe I'll
it,
put it on
the
Twitter.
context of the time that he was trying to make Jeezy's a thing. He was trying to get a name for himself, which I the same way that he's trying to break from the producer tag into like a rapper tag. At that time, was breaking from just a musician to now a designer, a fashion designer, and later on, he was breaking from just fashion designer to like communities designer and all these aspects. So every time he does something like that, he got blowback, and he just like pushed through it. So that's why I really like Kanye and appreciate his artistic ambition, and also appreciate why he's cursed in his way.
Yeah, yeah. I was listening to a little bit of his biography too, like when I was checking out his songs, and then it's interesting how yeah, he's such a polarized man. Like
Yeah,
he's, he's almost like yeah, he's so polarized. Yeah.
yeah. that's also one of the things recently I've acknowledged to myself is like I appreciate him, but I definitely don't want to be him.
Mm.
Like I'm good, man. Like I don't need to go that crazy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even if I could snap a finger to become like him, I wouldn't do it.
yeah. Yeah, he's almost like a little bit like Joji, where those people are like almost like they're always tapped into the edge of the mind. It's like they have what I call like enlightenment genetics.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, do you know Joji is coming back with a new project? He's just come back like 1 week ago.
oh, with that new, you sent me one of his new songs, right, at the club or something. Like he was in the
No, no,
club.
no. Like this is much more recent. Like 1 week ago, he dropped a whole album called "Piss in the Wind."
Is it good? What's it about?
Um, I only listened to it one time, so I think I need to listen to it again. But
The new
I like
style?
it. It's just that kind of ballad, the kind of ballad where it's a lot of like we can say sad boy music, but there is also I think it's almost Joji is making music for people in the Matrix that knows that they're in the Matrix but don't know the way out. He makes
Uh,
music for those people, and I really appreciate that because it's so fucking sad.
I think in some sense Joji also like wants to get out of the matrix.
Yeah,
I think he'd be interesting to have in CC actually. Or
yeah,
like David Choi. Someone like David Choi too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
A lot of those artists are just pushing the edge of their mind.
yeah.
Like Nietzsche, yeah. But then I don't know, just whatever their causing conditionings,
Right.
like really push through it. Maybe
Another
they're
com
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Another comment from the same commenter. Also off topic maybe, so I hope it's not too annoying. But is a third eye pop cessation considered stream entry, or where on the map would that be? Sorry again, I know selfish question. Yeah, it's all right. That's fine. Um, third eye pop cessation. I reckon that would be um the experience which the practitioner I would reckon that they sit, they have a sense of being the observer. When they intensify that experience to observe the observer, there could be like this sense of zooming in or zooming out, or like zooming in and zooming out at the same time, and just you kind of reset. That's a very particular and very powerful experience. But I think if we focus too much on the experience, we may miss the insight.
Because people are confused experience with insight and insights with realization. I think when I had that insight, if you want to, it also depends on like what the four path model are you talking about? Are you talking about the Dana Ingram four path model, or are you talking about the
Yeah.
stream based on the original Theravada map?
Which I would just maybe we'll make more shows and we can talk more about that in terms of like what it feels like to be you and how that it feels like for that sense of you to change. What I
Mm.
recommend is when we see this sense of third eye opening in that way, or sense of being in the head and no longer being in the head, the recommendation is to see slower, like slowing down your sense of observing yourself to the point that you see how that constructed and how that deconstructed, especially when you move from one state to the other. For example, when you just wake up, probably you're not feeling that you're inside your head yet.
Yeah, there's a transition period that you can really
Yeah.
observe. Yeah, yeah.
So a
We
lot of
talked
times,
about that in CC too, like seeing the transition period between like falling asleep into the dream world and waking up, or like
yeah,
just like warming up in our sleep. We warm up and then we have the absorption and then we cool down. Just seeing that transition from like warming up to the absorption to the cool down, and then how the cool down transition to life. Yeah,
yes,
I think
sir.
that's really important. That insight is more important. To see the relationship between these different states, the more important than the experience itself, or even the
Yes,
system
sir.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And one last comment, Frank's Got My video gave me a glimpse and I've never gone back. The Got My video, you remember that?
With the Godman video, yeah. I remember.
What software did you use for that? Because I remember the animation was quite particular.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of it's put off of YouTube. I think there was like Donald Trump in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was in my Jet McKenna phase. Like everything is consciousness. That's when I was watching a lot of Leo Guru.
Yeah, shout out Leo Gura. I don't know, man. I'm just loving everybody. Like, I don't have anything against Leo Gura. I actually appreciate him a lot, like a lot.
Yeah, Leo Guru changed our lives.
Yeah, 100%. Like I would definitely see him as a genius.
Yeah, dude, who can make videos like for like 3 hours without like making a mistake, man?
Yeah, it's
Great.
fucking crazy, man. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much the first show. We talk about ambitions, the cost of it, different phases, uh, ups and downs of all that, linking through Marty Supreme as a movie. Next week, we're going to talk about her.
Yeah,
Uh,
AI and her and like how that
yeah.
I think it's so
Intimacy.
yeah, intimacy. Yeah, yeah. There's like a cafe in New York that you just bring your own computer or you bring your own phone and you just sit by yourself and you have a date with your AI girlfriend. It's like opening like tomorrow or something on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Actually, cafes where you go on dates with your AI girlfriend now. So that whatever happened and is depicted in her is actually like coming to real life right now. So that really makes that movie way less interesting now, but at the same time even more interesting.
All right. Because
Yeah.
it's not sci-fi anymore.
Yeah, it's not sci-fi anymore. When people read the synopsis of that movie, it's like I don't need to watch this. Like the new generations, people don't know about that movie that much. Yeah.
All right. Take care, Frank.
All right.
Take care, audience. Bye-bye, guys. I want to end the call now. Ending the stream. Thank you guys for hopping on.